there's something I never say out loud, my love. Not because I'm strong, but because I'm terrified of how much you mean to me. Every time you smile at me, every time your voice calms my chaos, a quiet fear grows inside my heart. The fear of one day waking up and not having you beside me anymore. People think love is only happiness. But real love carries fear too. The fear of losing the one person who became your peace, your home, your reason to keep going when life gets heavy. And maybe I hide it well. Maybe I laugh, maybe I act calm, maybe I tell you everything is fine. But deep inside, I'm secretly scared of losing you one day. My love, there's something I carry inside me every single day, and no matter how hard I try to hide it behind smiles, calm words, or quiet moments, it never truly disappears. It follows me in silence. It sits beside me when I wake up in the morning, and it stays with me long after the world falls asleep. It's the fear of losing you one day. And maybe that sounds strange. Because when people look at love, they think it's supposed to feel safe all the time. They think love is just happiness, comfort, warm hugs, soft kisses, and beautiful promises. But nobody talks about the other side of love. Nobody talks about how deeply you can love someone until the thought of losing them starts haunting your heart in silence. You changed something inside me. Before you, I was used to carrying life alone. I was used to pretending that nothing really touched me deeply. I learned how to survive without expecting too much from anyone, because expectations can hurt. I learned how to smile while feeling empty. I learned how to walk through life acting strong even on the days when I felt completely broken inside. But then you came into my world so gently, so unexpectedly, and somehow your presence made all the walls around my heart begin to fall apart. You became the first person who made me feel understood without needing to explain every wound I carried. You looked at me in a way that felt peaceful, not perfect, not magical like movies try to show love. Just real. Honest, quiet, safe. And maybe that's why losing you scares me so much. Because real love is rare. Real connection is rare. Finding someone who truly sees your soul without trying to change it is rare. Sometimes I look at you while you're talking, and I stop listening to the words, because I get lost in the feeling of simply having you there. I start thinking about how life brought two imperfect people together in this massive world. Out of millions of faces, millions of hearts, somehow ours found each other. And then this fear quietly whispers inside me, asking, what if one day this disappears? That thought destroys me more than I could ever explain. Because you're no longer just a person in my life. You became part of my daily breathing, part of my peace, part of my future thoughts. Even the smallest things remind me of you now. Songs sound different because of you. Nights feel softer because of you. Even silence feels less lonely when I know you exist somewhere in this world loving me back. And maybe I don't always say it clearly. Maybe I act normal. Maybe I joke around, smile, and pretend everything is fine. But deep down, there are moments where my heart panics quietly. Moments where I wonder if I'm enough to make you stay forever. Moments where I fear life might take you away from me, the same way. Life takes beautiful things away from people without warning. I think that's what happens when someone finally becomes your home. You stop fearing loneliness as itself, and start fearing losing the one person who made loneliness disappear. There are nights when I stare at old messages from you longer than I should. Nights when your voice repeats inside my head after our conversations end. Nights when I remember the way you looked at me, and suddenly my chest feels heavy because I realize how deeply attached my soul has become to yours. I know love is not about possession. I know I cannot hold your heart in chains and force forever to stay still. Life changes. People change. Time changes everything eventually, and maybe that truth is exactly why my love for you feels so emotional. Because I know nothing in this world is guaranteed. I know tomorrow is never promised. I know people lose people every single day without being prepared for it. That's why every moment with you feels precious to me in a way I can't even describe properly. Every laugh, every random conversation, every late night call, every soft I miss you, every little argument that ends with understanding. Every second matters to me, because my heart understands how fragile beautiful things truly are. Sometimes I wonder if you notice the way I look at you when you're not paying attention. There's love in that silence, fear, too, gratitude. Admiration. There are 1,000 emotions hiding behind my eyes every time I realize how lucky I am to experience your existence. You know what hurts the most? The fact that the people who love the deepest are often the ones who fear loss the most, because we know what it feels like to lose pieces of ourselves. We know what heartbreak feels like. We know how painful emptiness can become. And when someone finally gives our soul peace, we become terrified of returning to the darkness we once survived alone. Before you, I convinced myself I didn't need anyone too deeply. I told myself attachment was dangerous. I told myself distance was safer than vulnerability. But then you slowly became the exception to every rule I created to protect my heart. You walked into places inside me that nobody else ever reached before. You touched wounds without even knowing they existed. You made me believe that maybe love doesn't always destroy people, maybe sometimes it heals them too, and now the idea of losing you feels like losing a part of myself, not because my happiness depends entirely on you, but because you became part of the meaning behind my happiness. You became part of the light I look for during difficult days. Part of the calmness I search for after exhausting moments. Part of the hope that reminds me life can still be beautiful, despite everything it puts us through. I wish I could explain how much your presence matters to me. Sometimes it's not even about the big romantic moments. Sometimes it's just the comfort of knowing you exist. Knowing there's someone out there whose heart beats with care for me. Someone who remembers small things about me. Someone who notices when my energy changes. Someone who asks if I'm okay even when I say, I'm fine. That kind of love changes a person forever, and maybe that's why I get scared. Because once someone changes your soul in a beautiful way, life without them no longer feels the same. I think about random futures sometimes. About growing older. About difficult days. About moments where life becomes heavy and exhausting. And every time I picture those futures, you're there beside me in them. That's how deeply you've entered my heart. My mind automatically places you in every tomorrow I imagine. So when fear visits me at night, it doesn't just whisper about losing a person, it whispers about losing future memories that haven't even happened yet. It whispers about waking up one day without hearing your voice anymore. About missing someone who once felt like home. About carrying memories instead of moments. And honestly, that thought breaks me quietly. There are people who enter our lives casually, and there are people who become part of our soul's language. You became the second one. Loving you no longer feels like a temporary emotion. It feels woven into my existence itself, even on difficult days, even during misunderstandings, even when silence grows between us for a while, my heart still chooses you. That's the scary part about real love. It stays. It remains soft even after pain. It remains loyal even during fear. It keeps hoping even when uncertainty exists. I never want you to think my fear comes from weakness or distrust. It comes from depth, from sincerity. From the reality that losing someone you truly love is one of the most painful experiences a human heart can survive. And because I love you deeply, naturally the fear of losing you exists deeply too. Sometimes I wish I could protect us from time itself. I wish I could pause certain moments forever. The moments where your laughter fills the silence around me. The moments where your eyes soften while looking at me. The moments where everything in life feels okay simply because we're together. But life keeps moving, time keeps passing, days disappear quickly, and maybe that's why I love you the way I do now. Intensely, honestly, emotionally, because I understand how temporary life can be. People spend too much time pretending they'll always have more time later, more chances later, more words later, more affection later. But later is never promised. That realization changed me. It made me want to love you louder while I still can. Hold your heart carefully while I still can. Appreciate your existence while life still allows me to. You deserve to know how much you matter to me. You deserve to know that your absence would leave a silence inside me that no noise in the world could fully replace. You deserve to know that even when I act calm, there are moments where my heart quietly trembles at the idea of life separating us somehow. And maybe one day you'll fully understand the way I love. It's not loud all the time. It's not dramatic every second. Sometimes my love appears in small details, in remembering things you casually mentioned weeks ago, in checking if you got home safely, in thinking about you randomly during busy days. in staying awake longer just to continue hearing your voice, in praying silently for your happiness even when you never hear the prayer itself. That's the kind of love I carry for you. Quiet but deep, gentle but powerful, soft but terrifyingly real. I know I'm not perfect. I know I have flaws, fears, scars, insecurities, and moments where my mind overthinks too much. But my feelings for you have always been genuine. Every heartbeat behind my words has been honest. Every emotional moment came from a real place inside me. And honestly, one of the hardest things about loving someone deeply is realizing how vulnerable they make you. Because now your happiness can affect my entire day. Your sadness hurts me too. Your distance feels heavy. Your silence becomes loud inside my mind. That's what love does when it reaches the deepest parts of someone's soul. You became important enough to hurt me without even trying. Not because you're cruel, but because my heart chose you as someone precious, and precious things always carry the possibility of pain if they disappear. Still, despite all the fear, despite all the vulnerability, despite the sleepless nights and overthinking moments, I would still choose loving you again and again, because some connections are worth the risk of heartbreak. Some people are worth every emotional scar that love might eventually leave behind. You are worth it to me, even if my voice shakes sometimes. Even if fear visits my heart quietly, even if my mind imagines losing you in moments where I should simply enjoy your presence. None of that changes the beauty of what I feel for you. If anything, it proves how real it is, because people don't fear losing things that mean nothing to them. And you mean more to me than words will probably ever fully explain. Loving you became the most beautiful risk of my life. I don't think you truly realize what that means to me. Before you, I had already made peace with loneliness in a strange way. I learned how to survive without expecting too much from people. I became comfortable pretending I didn't need anyone deeply, because needing someone always felt dangerous. The more you care, the more you can break. So I taught myself to stay emotionally careful, quiet, guarded. I smiled when I had to, laughed when people expected me to, and kept most of my feelings hidden in places nobody could touch. Then you arrived so naturally into my life that I didn't even notice my chart changing at first. It happened slowly. Through small conversations, through little moments that seemed ordinary, but somehow stayed inside my mind longer than they should have. The way you listened to me. The way your presence softened my thoughts. The way your voice felt calming during difficult nights. Somehow, without forcing anything, you became important to me. And honestly, that terrified me, because the moment someone becomes important to you, they also become capable of hurting you, without even trying. That's the risk nobody talks about when it comes to love. People always describe the butterflies, the smiles, the romance, the beautiful late-night conversations. But nobody really explains how terrifying it feels to hand someone access to the softest parts of your soul. Nobody explains how vulnerable real love makes a person feel. Loving you felt like standing at the edge of something beautiful and dangerous at the same time. Beautiful because you made my world feel lighter. Dangerous because I knew I could lose you someday. Still, I let myself fall anyway, not because I was fearless, but because something about you felt worth the risk. You made me feel emotions I thought I buried years ago. Hope, comfort, peace. The kind of peace that doesn't come from silence, but from finally feeling understood. You looked at me like I wasn't too much to handle. You stayed during moments where I expected distance. You cared in ways that healed parts of me I never talked about openly. And maybe that's why loving you became the most beautiful risk of my life. Because for the first time, my heart stopped choosing safety over connection. It stopped running away from attachment. It stopped pretending love wasn't necessary. You changed that in me. There are moments when I look at you and quietly realize how deeply my soul has attached itself to yours. It's in the small things. The comfort I feel hearing your voice after a long day, the way your messages instantly shift my mood, the way I unconsciously search for you in crowded places, the way my mind thinks about telling you things the second something happens in my life. You became part of my everyday existence without even trying. And maybe that sounds simple, but to me, it means everything. Because not everyone reaches that level inside someone's heart. Not everyone becomes a thought you carry from morning until midnight. Not everyone becomes the person your soul feels safest with. You did, that's why the risk feels so real, because now, if you disappeared, life wouldn't just continue normally. Something inside me would feel missing. A silence would exist where your presence once lived. That's the terrifying part of loving deeply. Your heart starts building a home around someone, and suddenly the thought of losing them feels like watching that home collapse. But even knowing that, I still love you with everything I have. I still choose you every day. I still let myself care deeply despite the fear, because some people are worth the emotional risk. Some people enter your life and make even pain feel meaningful, because at least you experience something real. And real love is rare. So rare that once you find it, you stop treating it casually. You know what's strange? Before you, I thought strength meant never needing anyone. I thought protecting my heart made me wise, but now I realize real strength is allowing yourself to love, despite knowing heartbreak is possible. Real strength is choosing vulnerability in a world where everyone hides behind emotional walls. And you made me brave enough to try. You made me want to believe in forever again. Sometimes I wonder if you notice the way I watch you during quiet moments. There's admiration in my eyes, but there's also fear. Not fear of you hurting me intentionally. Just fear of life itself, fear of time, fear of change, fear that beautiful things don't always stay forever no matter how deeply we wish they would, because life has a cruel habit of reminding people that nothing is guaranteed. That's why I treasure you the way I do. That's why even ordinary moments with you feel special to me. A random conversation with you means more to me than perfect words from anyone else. Sitting quietly with you feels more peaceful than being surrounded by crowds. Even your flaws became beautiful to me because they belong to you. That's what love does. It turns a person into something irreplaceable. Honestly, that scares me sometimes, because I know how deeply loss can affect a human heart. I know what emptiness feels like. I know how memories can haunt someone after a connection disappears. I know how difficult it is to replace genuine emotional safety once it's gone. So yes, loving you became risky. You became capable of breaking me simply because I gave my heart permission to trust you. But somehow, despite that possibility, my soul still whispers that loving you is worth it. Every fear, every sleepless night, every moment of emotional vulnerability. Worth it, because meeting you changed me in ways I never expected. You taught me that love doesn't always need to be loud to be powerful. Sometimes the deepest love exists quietly. In concern, in consistency, in emotional presence, in the little moments nobody else notices, like the way you ask if I ate properly, the way you remember details I forgot mentioning, the way your energy changes when I'm upset, the way your existence alone calms certain storms inside my mind. Those things matter more than you probably realize. They matter because they make love feel real instead of performative. And maybe that's why I fear losing you so much, because finding someone emotionally genuine in this world is becoming rare. So many people know how to pretend, so many people know how to speak beautifully without loving deeply. But your care feels honest, your presence feels sincere, your love feels safe. That kind of connection changes a person permanently. I don't think I'll ever become the same version of myself that existed before you. Because now, I know what it feels like to truly love someone beyond surface emotions. I know what it feels like to carry another person inside your thoughts constantly. I know what it feels like to worry about their happiness almost as much as your own. That's not weakness. That's love in its purest form, and maybe one day life will test us. Maybe there will be difficult moments, misunderstandings, distance, hard seasons, or painful nights where fear grows louder than peace. But even then, my heart will still remember one thing clearly. Loving you was never a mistake. It was the most beautiful thing my soul ever allowed itself to experience. Because even fear becomes meaningful when love is real enough. Even vulnerability becomes beautiful when the person holding your heart treats it gently. And even though part of me is secretly scared of losing you, one day, another part of me feels grateful every single day that I found you at all.